Hey guys, welcome back. Just want to give an update on the V. As you guys seen in previous videos, my brother and I finally got the drivetrain back into the V. My garage is an absolute disaster because of all the work I've been doing. I've got my uncle's car here right now that I've got to do a control arm and a wheel bearing on. And don't worry about that. That's nothing catastrophic. That's the old oil filter. I accidentally dropped it and dumped it, and I just didn't clean it yet. So, we had a little bit of an issue with the not wanting to start. It would crank and crank and crank all day. It would not start. It didn't want to do anything I wanted it to do. Didn't even try and have any signs of life. I tried spraying starting fluid down the intake. Nothing worked. So I was throwing a code for barometric pressure high or signal high, I believe it was. I have to go back and check. And ultimately what was going on was the sorry, my uncle's car power door locks behind me are freaking out. Don't know why. Ultimately what was going on was I had no spark and I had no injector pulse. So I'm wondering, like, what the heck's going on? I mean, I thought I had a crossed wire. I thought something, a bad ground. I just didn't know. Because not only is the idle air control valve, or not idle air control, throttle position sensor here, not only is that got this aftermarket harness on it, so did the crankshaft sensor. And I also tried to reuse the original crank sensor out of the LS6 that literally, here's the LS6 block. This is where the crank sensor bolts in at. See something missing there? The bolt boss right here, it actually knocked that out of the block. So I changed that sensor out, changed the cam sensor, which was a pain because anybody who's had to change one of these that's been in a motor for a while knows that these things do not want to come out. So I ended up having to break it into a bunch of pieces, pull all the bolts around the timing cover out, pull the balancer off a little bit, and rock the timing cover back and push the sensor into the inside of the motor and grab it with I kind of use like a sandwiching pick motion. It's easier to show than explain. But so what ended up happening was, you get all these extension harnesses and stuff off of eBay and Amazon and everything, like right here. This is the one for the cam sensor. And obviously here's the one for the map sensor. So what I ended up doing, and it was causing all my problems, you got your two connectors in the back, and these plugs will fit into each other. Like this one here, I'm actually going to have to shave down that little step inside in order to use this now. Because it's on the wrong side. They put the wrong connector on this. This plugged right into the camshaft sensor. So I was sending camshaft signals to the map sensor, and I noticed that when I would actually floor the throttle, it would turn my fuel pump back on as if the car were running and the map sensor were sending a signal or something. I don't know, it was really weird. So now I've got to get this connector modified so it'll work with the map sensor plug back there. And listen to this car. Look at the lock. No idea why that's freaking out like that. Oh, here we go now. One second. Okay, so now since we've got that alarm off, so after reversing those, I had all the injectors unplugged, and I also had the intake manifold unbolted from the car. I had my little Noid light here, and I'll tell you what, man, you can go rent these at O'Reilly's for like 20 bucks. I think it's like 20 or 25 bucks. And I actually have 2 sets of these. I ordered a set off of Amazon, and they told me they were back ordered. They were like $16. And I was like, well, I can't wait. Because typically I've got Amazon Prime, so it's here next day. So I said, screw it, I'll call O'Reilly, see what they want. And it was like $5 more or $10 more, something like that. So I rented it, I kept it. They are worth their weight in gold in situations like this, because the car fired right up after I checked that injector pulse. I didn't even deal with checking with spark, because I know if I've got injector pulse, I'm gonna have spark. Hit the key, and it coughed once or twice, and I knew instantly, okay, it's gonna start. And it fired right up. It idled on its own. It was a little high in RPM for a minute, slowly came back down. After that, it was perfect. I can't believe how well this car idled, even with having a map sensor disconnected. And I'm fully confident that once I repair this map sensor harness here, and actually get this to connect properly, that I'm not going to have an issue. I won't even so much as have a check engine light on in this car. Right now it has one, and when I scan the codes, it's throwing a code for a map sensor, and that's the only code it's throwing. It's probably going to throw a code here soon, though, for the oil pressure sensor, because as you guys all know, when you move this intake manifold, even the slightest, you even sneeze at that oil pressure sensor the wrong way on an LS motor, and oh, there it goes. So luckily my buddy's got an extra one sitting over at the house, so I don't have to go and spend like 50 bucks on an oil pressure sensor for this thing. He's got about 3 or 4 of them that are brand new, so we'll go, and I'm gonna go get that. But it runs. I'll put the video right here where it's not a first start, it's like the second time I've started this motor. But same concept as the first. I mean, it fired right up like this motor was built in this car from the factory. So all in all, guys, super easy swap. I mean, it already had an LS in it, so it's not like I took a base model CTS and dropped an LS in it. But the beautiful thing about it is this car was already tuned for the cam, the long tube headers, and a couple other things that were done to it. So the only thing that I have physically changed is the displacement of the engine, which will probably make it run a little lean. So I will probably add a little more of fuel into it across the RPM range using HP tuners. And I'm going to get my AFR. I have an AFR gauge that I am going to wire up in this, and I'm going to check my numbers and make sure everything's fine. But other than that, really, to make this work, and this is LS3 everything with a BTR stage 3 cam in it, titanium valve springs, stainless steel pace setter long tube headers, with a MagnaFlow exhaust system going through an X pipe. This car, in the video that you're going to see here coming up shortly, it doesn't have an exhaust. This is an open long tube header cold start. So really nice sound. It gives you an idea. Yes, I piss revved it. Leave me alone. The motor's not brand new. It's already been broken in. Yeah, and I had 0 ticking from this engine at all, at least that I could hear over the long tubes, and I want to show you why. I'm not sponsored by these guys or anything like that, but Lucas High Performance Assembly Lube, when it says it eliminates dry starts, they mean it. I put this stuff on everything: the lifters, the main and rod bearings, push rods, rocker shafts, valves, tops of the valves, anything that was going to move and have friction on it. I mean, I slathered the cam in it too. Like this stuff is green. It smells really good too. It smells like mint when you use it. I mean, that cam was like a mint green when I put it in there. Like it looked like the lining on the Ziploc bag. So I'm gonna insert that video right here. So there's the start video. As you can tell, the car runs phenomenally. So I'm going to get this car back together. I'm going to try and have it down on all four wheels today with the complete exhaust system on it. The cooling system done and in it. I have to press this crank pulley back on, so I've got to go get some more washers from the hardware store, so I can actually get that pressed back in, or all the way in. And after that's pressed in, I think what I'm going to do, because everything comes out the top for the cooling system, I think I'm going to put the exhaust back on it. I'm going to get the oil dipstick tube back in, because I had to take that out to get the starter in. Really tight under there for removing and installing a starter. And then from there, it's time to get all the belts, the cooling system, and all the other goodies on it. And hopefully today, as long as this doesn't take me forever to get finished, I got a wheel bearing to do on this side and a control arm to do on the other. I will have this car down, exhaust on it, and hopefully taking it for a first drive today. So that's what I would like to do. And if everything goes well, I will be stopping. If I can get it done by tomorrow, I will be calling my insurance agent and putting insurance on it, and I will be driving this car tomorrow. This will be my new daily driver. I can clean my garage, and I can park my Charger in here, and it's not out in the elements anymore. So, alright guys, I'm going to cut this here. I'm going to start running around getting my bolts, or my washers, so I can get my, so that I can get all of my crank hub stuff done and pushed in, or pressed back in. I will see you guys later.